Well, hello there. This is W6TFK Jonathan, and I am the Ham Nomad. I wanted to start a channel and just kind of let you guys know what's on my mind. I follow a lot of ham radio channels out there, and a lot of them are absolutely fantastic with the specific focuses that they're in. And I want to shift focus. I want to have something a little bit different. I want to have some conversations with you all about different topics. Emergency communications. I have a vast background in emergency communications, everything from being a communications liaison for a search and rescue organization, and as well as the chief radio officer for the local RACES organization that incorporated a lot of stuff with Homeland Security, the city, just a lot of different stuff. We'll get more into that in the future. I also wanted to have some just honest conversations about basic stuff like Elmer hours, where we talk about what to do if you're just getting started in ham radio, how to get started. Maybe you just got your ticket, you just got your license. Let's talk about the jargon, what do we call it a ticket, stuff like that. But just really kind of start from the ground up so that you can see what you can do with ham radio and how you can use it to really expand your network, and more so be prepared to respond and help others, because really at the core of what we do as ham radio operators, we do this because we want to help other people. Yeah, it's a great social network, but really at the root of it, I think all of us would agree, there's a deeper desire to support a greater community. So, and we'll talk about that. So let's get into a little bit more about who I am and why I'm the Ham Radio Nomad. So my name is Jonathan. I've been licensed for quite a few years now. I believe I got my original license back in the early 2000s, but I've been involved in ham radio my entire life. From the earliest moments that I can remember, my family was amateur radio operators with a focus on supporting disaster communications between South America, specifically where my family is from, Uruguay, to the United States. So, great example, California, earthquakes. We would have earthquakes, and people in the foreign countries, South America specifically, like I said, would not know what's going on here in the United States, specifically what was going on in California. They might have heard something about an earthquake or something like that on the news and not really know what's going on. What my family would do is jump on the radio, enable their radios to be able to communicate over phone lines, whether via phone patch or whether just, putting their phone on a handset kind of receiver system, or just physically just being a go-between. And people would call up on the radio, hey, my family is in the Los Angeles area, is anybody in Los Angeles that can help, call them for me? And they would respond, yes, I'm in Los Angeles, let's coordinate on this frequency and we'll talk to them, blah, blah, blah. So I remember from my earliest years, really being involved in that. Moving forward, I got my ham radio license. I was volunteering with a search and rescue organization, basically helping them handle all levels of communications for desert search and rescue. And we would do what's called an enduro race. So imagine a 30, 60, 100-mile loop to where, you've got to communicate out 30, 40, 50 miles out, and back in a huge course. And we were coordinating medical response. So motorcycle rider would go down, they'd be injured, they need one of us to respond. So we would coordinate the response with paramedics, ambulances, air support, whatever we needed. We'd basically support all the communications for that. As well as some of the paramedics and stuff like that. Some of the guys on the team were paramedics. My background was communications and off-roading. So that's kind of my background as far as that's concerned. Moving forward, I really wanted to get more and more into the disaster communications world, so I got involved with my local RACES organization, and I, at the time, was involved with the City of Anaheim RACES organization because I worked in Anaheim, and I lived in Anaheim for a while, too. My 25 years that I spent working at Disney, many of those years were actually spent volunteering also with the City of Anaheim as a disaster communications person. I served for a while as the chief of disaster communications, and that afforded me a lot of training and education into greater disaster communications and how to respond to disasters, with the comms focus. So these are all kinds of things that I'm going to bring to the table as far as my background and experience and stuff like that goes. There's going to be other things that we're going to talk about. We're just going to talk about basic stuff here. Why is my name the Ham Radio Nomad? Well, just a couple years ago, I think literally in 2022, I can't remember now. I'll post it in the comments below. My wife and I decided that we were going to become nomads. What you see behind me is our 30-foot motorhome that we travel and live in. If you want to follow our other channel, we have another channel at Create and Capture Life, and where we talk about our road travels. Ham Radio Nomad channel is going to be focused a little bit more on my travels around the country, playing with ham radio, and talking about disasters, communications, and why we do the things we do as I travel around the country. So that's the intro for the channel. I'm not sure how often I'm going to post. I'm going to try to post at least once a week. If I get some more content ideas, then I'll post more often, but at least for right now, I'll probably try to focus on once a week. If you want to know more, if you want to go along this journey with me and see where this channel goes and grows, like, comment, subscribe, do the things. If you want to know anything about me, if you want to dig in deeper into any specific world of ham radio, I plan on getting into things from HF to UHF, VHF, going into some of the technologies. I'm a big supporter of ARDN, or Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network, which is ham radio over 2.4 gigahertz. I'm a really big fan of digital modes. I'm going to be learning about them, so I will be posting about that stuff and maybe bringing that to you as well. I'm really looking forward to doing more and interacting with you all, and I don't know. We'll see where this goes. We'll talk soon. This is W6TFK, signing off, 7 3s.